here. Where to begin? I was planning on filming today, procrastinating, doing things. It's 1:30 and I decide to get up. I'm all comfy on the couch. Slink is sitting on me. He's like sitting real funny, all stretched out, all comfy cozy, and I decide, okay, I need to get up and, you know, film this video I want to film. And I stand up and I hear this noise behind me that goes glug 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 glug, and it's my new drink bottle has fallen over on the couch and is spilling literally like half a litre of water on the couch because I got this new drink bottle, which I did film me unboxing it, so I'll put this in the video wherever it makes sense. I had very foolishly left it uncapped and it's got a huge hole opening. I've had it for a week today, so lesson learnt, don't fucking leave the lid off, because it just went all like everywhere on the cushions and like down the gap between the two cushions. So it's not just one cushion that's soaked, it's two. It's like so much water that it's like a puddle because there's so much that it's not immediately soaking in. I've had this happen before with my Frank Green drink bottle, so I really should have learned to not just trust that it stays balanced, because when you get up, cushions move and things fall over. But when that happened, it was more of a slow realization, like, why is the cushion wet? Because not as much water could come out of it because the hole was smaller, like the opening was smaller. So that's great. I do love it. Okay, I love this drink bottle. It's not my drink bottle's fault, it's my fault. And I already had a spilling incident this week. On Tuesday, I was having the worst day on Tuesday. I was in such a bad mood. I was already like not having a great time, and then I had these fake nails and I wanted to glue them back on before work started, and I had my nail glue in my car and I was gluing them back on, and then I was an idiot and like tilted my hand to like get at the nail and was holding the glue, and it also went glug 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 glug, and my brain both times goes, what is that? It's like finding his new comfy place, because half of the not three quarters, 2/3 of the couch not there for him to sit on. And I had nail glue and it spilled all the way on my jacket. Kind of got lucky. It went on my jacket, which I'm hoping will wash out, I don't know, and in my hair. And I was really lucky, really lucky that it didn't get in very much of my hair. I didn't realize how lucky I was until I washed it, because in my head I was like, I'll just wash it and it'll come out. No. I said that to Jonathan and he was like, I don't think that's gonna work. He was right. It didn't really come out, so I had to cut it out of my hair. Luckily, like the longest piece was like that long and it was like really thin strands, so I'm so lucky that most of it went on the jacket and not my hair. Otherwise I would have had to cut off like a bunch of it. So I'm really lucky in that regard. But it's just a week of apparently destroying things by spilling things completely avoidably. I could have completely avoided it. Anyway, I'm hoping that dries. I've got the heat pump going. You can see from this how wet they are. The patches are quite dark. It's really cold at the moment, which is why I've got a freaking turtleneck under my hoodie, but it's actually working quite well and I feel kind of cute. Usually I can't wear this turtleneck because it's quite high and makes me feel like I'm being choked and it's really overstimulating, but it's so cold that it actually is like working out quite well. Before I talk about writing, I want to tell you some other random things. I got an ad for this cat game called Secret Cat Forest. It's so cute. Basically it's like an idle game where you just wait for these cats to show up based on what toys you put out, and you earn toys by collecting wood from the tree. And it's so aesthetic and cute and I am addicted. Like, it's an idle game, but I'm addicted to watching the ads, because you can watch ads that collect, so that the game collects wood for you for an hour, and you can watch another ad that wood collection is ×2 for 2 minutes. So I am addicted to watching these ads just so that I can buy cat furniture faster. And so that's so much fun. That is bringing me joy amongst the rest of the week. I haven't really been in a good mood recently because of just being stressed about work pretty much. But that's a highlight. We did this thing at work for Pink Shirt Day where we all gave each other compliments, so that was really nice, and I got a bunch of compliments. I don't know who any of them are from. Two of them I can tell, but the rest I can't tell. And all this, it's really interesting how you get perceived by people. Like, if you don't know how you're being perceived. Apparently I come across as very calm and empathetic. Empathetic, did I say that correctly? Not pathetic, empathetic. Which is really interesting. And it's quite nice that I come across as calm, because I don't always feel calm inside. But I appreciate that it seems like I am. Oh, I read some books. Should I give you a reading update? Even though the point of this video is to talk about writing, but I do want to give you a reading update. So, Zoe and I buddy read The Ministry of Time, which I have had on my shelf for probably like 3 to 5 years at this point. I bought it randomly from Paper Plus because I had a voucher from like a birthday or something. It was a waste of a voucher. Zoe really liked it, which just shows, like, you know, personal taste. Reading is subjective. I fucking hated this. I gave it 2 stars, and then the more I thought about it, the more I hated it, so I gave it 1 star. I did not like the writing style. I don't know what page it is on, but she says, I arrived at the ministry sweaty and vibeless. And I stared at that for a long time. What the fuck should I just read? And then she compares someone to a meme. So that was awful. And like, the main character is just a bad person. Of course there's like some time loop stuff going on because it's about time travel, so that really shouldn't be surprising. Zoe did pick up all of the plot twists before me, and I don't think I would have picked up on them myself because I wasn't reading that analytically. I just was kind of just trying to get it over with by the end. I didn't like the dialogue style, I didn't like the characters that much. Like, they didn't have any depth, didn't like the FMC. The main guy is based off a real guy from history, which I think is so ick, because I read some review that explained it really well of how icky and weird it is to take this real person from history, give them all this weirdness with being gay. Like, the way they handled homosexuality was really strange and not really in a allyship feeling way. And then he's described very vividly in sex scenes. The sex scenes were probably the most readable part of the whole book. Like, those scenes were done well and pretty much nothing else. But like, to take a real man from history that probably was racist, just like you portrayed him to be, it's really weird to describe that person having sex. It just feels ick. And spoilers, if you're gonna read this, spoilers, he's revealed to have, like, in the past killed a Inuit person, and then it shows him in the future later on in the book. When he first meets the FMC, he looks at her and thinks that she's Inuit, and that's his like do-over to redeem himself, and then falls in love with her. That feels weird. Everything about this is weird. I think there are people for this book. I'm just not that person. I don't like books that I hate everyone, and it's not for me. I need characters that are actually likable, and they're not in this book. And then, oh, it's over there. Right now I'm reading Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. Not really liking it so far, which is really disappointing because I really like T. Kingfisher, but it's just a lot of exposition dumps right now and nothing's actually happened. That's annoying. At the library there was a bunch of T. Kingfisher altogether, so I've got this to read at some point. Thornhenge, which is really small. Thornhenge, not hinge. So I could probably read that in one sitting quite easily. No idea what it's about, and I'm not going to find out before reading. I have A Sorceress Comes to Call. Also have no idea what this is about, but happy to read it if I'm still motivated. My thing is I always get a bunch of library books out and then read like half of them. We'll see. So I also have T. Kingfisher books on my own personal bookshelf that I haven't gone to yet. And then I picked up this. I think it was in the young adult section. It just seemed vibey. I don't know. Zia is a duke's daughter, frustrated that her entire life has been predetermined. She comes alive in the Lady Knights, and then there must be something with that guy. I like Lady Knights, so. And then I picked up this and I don't really remember why. Oh, I think maybe the tiger got to me. It says, the last thing Kelsey Hayes thought she'd be doing this summer was trying to break a 300-year-old Indian curse, which that piqued my curiosity, with a mysterious white tiger named Ren. The white tiger got to me. It's got a tagline by Becca Fitzpatrick on the front, author of Hush Hush, which I loved when I was a teenager and then reread as an adult and was like, oh my god, problematic. So that'll be interesting. If I get to it, I might never read it before it's due back. Yeah, those are my books. I'm gonna have to like donate this because I'm not keeping it for how much I hated it. It's not deserving of a place on my bookshelf. I arrived at the ministry sweaty and vibeless. It was another dank toothache of a day, barely qualifying in its chromatic dullness for grey. Adela was sitting at her desk, hands stacked. She was so neatly posed that I found myself wondering what meme she was referencing. She didn't look at me, but through me. Instead of her usual abrasion, she spoke with cool diffidence. She acted like I was an ex she hadn't seen in a very long time, one engaged to a much younger woman. The whole book was that! The whole book. Terrible metaphors. Okay. So, oh my god, I forgot that I was halfway through an ad for my game. I camera ran out of space and I wasn't aware and I kept talking. I was saying that that app is making my screen time go crazy. I'm getting too hot, so that has to go off. My screen time today is already 15 minutes and my screen time yesterday was an hour and 23 minutes because I'm so obsessed with this app and watching the ads. Anyway, I was gonna talk about writing. So, my goals at the beginning of the year, consulting the ancient texts of a couple months ago to see what my goals were. Where are they? Here we go. In 2026, I will complete the first draft of Talob and complete a draft of Talob ready for beta readers and post YouTube videos as long as it's fun. I've kind of completed all of those so far. I mean, the YouTube one is more of a maintenance goal, but I have completed the first draft and I completed a draft ready for beta readers because I read it. So what am I doing now that I have completed my goals that I wasn't sure how long it would take me, so that's why I made them goals for the whole year, because it's hard to know how long it will take you to achieve something, because I've achieved it by May, which is less than half the year, so kudos to me. I'm already cold from turning off the heat pump. I got some feedback from Zoe and I have been incorporating that feedback for draft 3 basically, and it was really helpful. So I've done act 1 and act 2 and then I've kind of taken a break because I feel like when I get to act 3 every time I'm kind of rushing because I just want it to be done. So I kind of took a break so that I could go back to it with more of a fresh perspective. I say break, it's been like a week but I just felt like I needed to maybe step back before continuing. And yeah, I have a lot of stuff to incorporate, kind of like character, I wouldn't say development, but just understanding the MMC a bit better and his motivations, and I think like motivations in general for a few different characters, fixing those. And then I'm kind of hoping I'll find someone else to read it. I don't know who I'm gonna ask specifically for that, but we'll see. Now that I've done that, okay, so Zoe was really generous in her feedback and really liked it. So big ego boost there. And she thinks, or she thought in her comment that she left me, that it would be, you know, queryable, basically. But I don't want to query it and get a bunch of predictions. Query it after I finish draft 3, obviously. I don't want to query it, get a bunch of rejections, and then really lose my motivation to write book 2. And what's going on? I don't know what happened there. I don't want to basically get depressed on the story from getting rejected by agents, because I also have this like part of me, there's like part of you that's like, you know, querying is really competitive and random, and you basically just have to find an agent that gets the, you know, you're on the same wavelength and gets has a vision for your story, right? So that's really hard to find, and the chances of that are really low. And then there's also the other part of me that's like, I'm gonna be an exception to the rule because my story is the best story and I'm such a good writer that I'm just gonna get picked up straight away. And I have watched videos of people who get an agent very quickly into querying, whereas some people are querying for like years. It's very difficult to have reasonable expectations and to even know what those are. So what I want to do is I want to write book 2, and my goal, my loosey-goosey goal, kind of like I had for my first book, is to write the first draft by the end of the year, which I think is totally achievable because my goal for book 1 was to write it in 6 months, the first draft, and I wrote the first draft in 5 months, and right now it's May, so I think it's like 7 months until the end of the year, so I'm sure I can write a first draft within that time frame. My goal is to write the first draft of book 2 before 2027, and then maybe query. I also, well, the other thought I'm having is because not only because I don't want to lose motivation for the story and then never want to come back to it, because that's what I do, is I get an idea and then I ruminate on the ideas and then I never write them down properly, and then they're gone eventually because I haven't written it down. So I don't want to lose, you know, the first impression of the vibe and ideas you get, right? The heart of it. I don't want to lose that. But also, if I query this book, the first one, which has already got odds stacked against it because it's a high word count, I'm gonna have to do, after I finish draft 3 and maybe get more reader feedback, I'm gonna have to cut the word count. I already have cut quite a bit just from, so it was over 120k by, I want to say a couple thousand, and I've already got it down to under 120k from editing Act 1 and Act 2, but then I do feel like I'm going to be adding more in Act 3 and Act 4. Yeah, the odds are already against it because it's a high word count book, and also because it's a series. I want to be able to say when I'm querying what the second book is about and what happens in it, because I feel like they would want a synopsis of the second book, and I can't give a synopsis because I haven't written it. So I need to write it to find out what happens, because I'm not a plotter and I don't want to outline it. That seems, I'm really not an outliner. I'm a bullet point, like, ideas list and then write and see what happens and see what feels right. And you can't write a synopsis of nothing. So I feel like that's another reason why I need to have like a good, like, draft 0, first draft of book 2, so that if I query book 1 and someone is interested and they go, what's book 2 gonna be, I can actually say something. And no, there is a thing of like, it's a 3-book series and I basically know like 3 things that are the main things that are going to happen in that story, in that book. I don't know how they're going to happen. I have like vague, very vague ideas of how that's gonna play out on book 3. So that's also another thing, is I don't have anything like a synopsis for book 3. I did write a synopsis last week for book 1 and I actually feel really good about it. I used this template by someone else and it helped a lot to like actually hone down on the specifics, because a synopsis is not supposed to have side plot stuff. So that outline thing that I copied, or like used for structure for the synopsis, was really helpful. So I'll link it somewhere in case anyone is watching my videos would find that helpful. So I feel really good about that. I have a synopsis. Have I said this eloquently enough for you to comprehend what I'm saying? So that's basically where I'm at right now. I did create a new document and stared at the blank page for a couple of days because I couldn't decide where it started, and that was freaking me out. I couldn't decide like the opening image, and then I realized it doesn't matter because it will probably change anyway, because it did. Draft 1 of book 1, the opening scene changed from draft 1 to draft 2 because I just saw it better after I'd written it. So I just need to write it and then I can fix it. Which is the whole battle with the draft 1, is it has to exist before you can fix it. So I'm back in that horribleness. But I have written a little bit. I think I have like just over 1,000 words right now. Kind of stuck right now on how to make something happen. But it's like some words are on the page. I'm hopefully going to write again today. I'm just like breathing wrong. My goal is kind of writing like at least 500 words a day, because 500 words is pretty attainable, and then if I write more than that, then that's just great. But 500 words is, you can kind of force that to happen. That's where I'm at, kind of like all the way at the beginning again, but at book 2. So my to-do list is write book 2 by the end of the year, finish editing draft 3, which won't take me that long. It's the 22nd of May. Honestly, it just depends when I feel like doing it. It'll probably only take me like a week. So whenever I feel like it, I'll finish draft 3. And then my focus is just really to book 2. I got a new plant. It was at the warehouse for like $12. So I bought it, and I haven't bought a plant in ages. That's really exciting. And it's the weekend, so I guess I'll just maybe film other stuff to make this an interesting video. I don't know. I mostly just wanted to say what my goals are. Yeah. I'll talk to you later. I have a package to unbox. You'll be able to hear Jonathan playing Pocket Racer?
Yeah.
In the background, because I don't want to get my microphone. I asked both Jonathan and Zoe for advice on what drink bottle to get, and did not listen to either of them.
I hope it's not the one that looks dirty.
It might be. It was the most purple one they had.
For the record, I preferred the bright pink one.
I'll buy it for your birthday.
Thanks.
Looks kind of blue right now.
How long do you think the bright pink one would be bright pink?
Forever?
With my dirty hand.
Oh. Jonathan's doing a face that he doesn't like it. Feels quite big, but not as heavy. It's taller but narrower. I feel like it's actually quite blue.
It looks a lot less gross than it did in the photo. Someone wants to come and be involved.
Oh, the straw inside matches. It smells super plasticky. I don't have anything interesting to say about it. I have to try drinking out of it. I think I like the colour. See, it has purple on the top.
Do you have buyer's remorse because of the colour?
No. I didn't like the bright pink one enough. And Zoe voted for the blue, but I wasn't feeling that either. And the other option was green. It was really bright green.
You need to flash up a series of thumbnails and get votes for the best colour.
It's too late for a vote.
Yeah, but retrospectively.
A retrospective
so then everyone
vote.
can say that the pink's the best colour.
It feels quite nice. I saw someone's review say that they didn't like the texture of it.
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
It's grippy, but not, you know, you get some like the coffee cups that have the rubbery coating to them and then it all peels off. That's grippy in a way that you can clean it too.
Yeah, I think better than, this is more soothing to look at. But this one has my name on it.
I've got an engraver, I can engrave your name. It won't look very good.
I had to get a new one because I broke this. I don't know if it will even, yeah, there we go. So it's been hazardous ever since I did that.
Is that one going to be easier to clean?
Yes, this one doesn't have anywhere where it can like build up dirt. See, so you don't have to touch it either, whereas you have to touch the other one. See, there's like nowhere that you can't reach to clean. Owala. Sounds like koala. Koala. How do you spell
K-O-A-L-A.
Oh.
Damn it, I keep losing. I'm really upset.
There's no W in koala. I just watched Olivia Rodrigo's new music video / listened to her new song, and now it's stuck in my head. It was really good. It's also really sad. I listen to like every song at the moment through the lens of, does this relate to Bologna? And I feel like theoretically it could, like from the right angle. But it's kind of probably in the headspace where like any song could from the right angle. But it was a good song. Oh, and Gracie Abrams had a new song recently, which I also thought was Bologna coded because of the bit about the chat, the crowd cheering or something. I try to be violent, but I get caught as quite Bologna coded from like before book 1. Hallucinations that I downplay. Watch my blade ricochet. You'll lose me to the crowd feels kind of Bologna coated. That's a complete segue from Olivia Rodrigo. I have written maybe 500 words. I was saying I wasn't sure how to get the scene to where I needed it to be, but I kind of figured it out. Which is honestly just helped by having so many characters can all be doing different things. I wrote 661 words, so that's pretty good. I currently have like a trio of like 3 people plus the cat. I still keep forgetting about the cat because the cat doesn't have lines, but it's an intelligent cat. And kind of like playing on things that just happened, because the second book is starting quite soon after the first book ends, like maybe a week later. And then also with starting a second book, you have to remind the audience about what happened at the end of the last book, kind of as a rehash, and also for like how that's impacting Bologna, because crazy stuff goes down at the end of book 1. I am, as I kind of mentioned, like how I didn't know where to start, I just started by writing things down instead of worrying about what the opening image would be. So I have something written down, very like, how many lines is that? 5 lines, 65 words, for the plot twist that's going to happen like 3/4 of the way through probably. It's giving Dark Night of the Soul, which I feel like is 3/4 through. I have not done any research about different plot structures, specifically Save the Cat. I know a lot of people use. I honestly don't want to know. I don't want it to affect my natural instincts. I don't know if that sounds like conceited, is that the right word? Like, I just want to trust my own instincts of where the story needs to go and the rise and fall of my own instincts of what I see, not being like Save the Cat 1, 2, 3, Act 2 is fun and games, you know, and then there's the Dark Knight as well. Like, I don't want to be forced into like this cookie cutter plot structure. That's just a complete tangent. But then I did find, I think my first book does kind of fit into some kind of structure. I don't think it's good, but I didn't make it purposefully, like that wasn't dictating my choices, if that makes sense. It's just like upon reflection, Act 2 is definitely a fun and games section, but I wrote it thinking this is what happens next, not thinking how do I make this fun and games. So I started out not writing like specific things, and I am quite a fan of writing non-linearly. Linearly. I wrote book 1 very linearly, but I'm not like holding myself to that. It just like, it worked out that way. But I think for this book, to just keep my motivation up, I'm just going to write down things like chop and change as I feel the need. In the scene, I'm skipping forward over the parts I'm not sure about, just to get the idea out, and then going back and filling in the gaps. Because I've written, probably my favourite fic that I wrote very non-linear, linearly. I can only say linear. I can't say linearly without already saying linear. I wrote a fanfic about Pansy and Ron very non-linearly, and that's my favourite fic, I think. I also wrote, I can't remember my completed fic, how I wrote that. If I wrote that linearly? Honestly don't know. But the one that is unfinished, that's the first one I ever started writing, I've written that very non-linearly, which kind of worked against me to a point, because I'm like, I already know the ending, I don't need to write this. And it's kind of unofficially abandoned at this point, so apologies to all the people who've ever commented on it saying that they liked it, because I don't think I'm ever gonna post the ending. I know what happens. I'm not ever gonna write it. I don't think, unless I feel like I need a break from writing like my own writing that's targeted towards traditional publishing. Maybe then I would go back and finish it, but as it is, it's kind of abandoned. But I wrote that very non-linearly, and which I think is a good thing to a point, especially when you have scenes that you're really looking forward to writing. I know that some writing advice is to save that scene as a reward for like writing all the stuff that builds up to it, but I think now, after some experience writing for the last couple of years really seriously, just write the scene when you have the motivation and the inspiration to, because me personally, I see that scene so vividly in my head that the best thing to do is to just write it fully fleshed as much as you can in that moment. Like, don't save it. That's stupid, in my opinion. Just write it the best you can when you are the most inspired to, because that'll be the most fun way to do it, versus you write all the way there and you're like, ugh, now I have to write that scene. I have really high expectations for this scene, which is what happened to me when I made myself wait. As I got to that point in the story, I was like, felt so much pressure on myself that I put there because I wanted the scene to live up to the expectations in my head, but I've already forgotten all these details because I thought of it like 3 months ago and I've been waiting this whole time to write it. Imagine instead you write the scene when you're inspired. You go back and you fill in all of those other bits of leading up to it, and then your reward is actually reading that scene that you really like. And because you probably had distance from it for a while because of all that time it took you to write the in-between stuff, it's probably better than you remember. And then you get to edit it, which is the fun part, is like improving what's already on the page. So big advocate for writing out of order and writing the little scenes and dialogue pieces that you feel inspired and drawn towards, and then like putting it together like a puzzle rather than forcing yourself to go chronologically and waiting like 100%. And that's how I've gotten to, I'm now at the 1,800 words, and that's because I'm not forcing myself to go A, B, C, D, E, F. I'm going B, F, L. And I did kind of stop in the middle of feeling inspired to watch the Olivia Rodrigo video, so I should be able to just like slot back in. I have lost the TV remote during my water flooding situation disaster, so I couldn't watch the music video on the TV, and I don't know where the remote is, and I know Jonathan will want it when he gets home, and I don't know where it is. Hi, it's Saturday now. I have been reading this a lot, Hemlock and Silver. I'm that far through now. I was really addicted to reading it last night, but then I read a chapter this morning and it wasn't getting to me as much. It's basically about this healer who specializes in poisons, and she's been summoned by the king to heal his daughter, who is Snow. And yeah, it's a dark reimagining of Snow White, steeped in poison, intrigue and treason of the most magical kind. Because I went into it knowing that it was Snow White, it does kind of, some suspense of it is missing, because you know the queen is evil. Like, it said at the beginning that the queen killed her other daughter, so it's like obviously she's a bad guy. And then this like alternate dimension is revealed. It's like, well, she's probably alive in there. But the main character, Anya, is kind of like a bit dumb. Like, she just takes a long time to realise things. And Snow is just being annoying, to be honest. I just want things to be revealed. I could really finish it in like one sitting, considering there's only that much left. And I thought that there's like a romance subplot happening with a bodyguard. And I thought that the king was going to be the love interest. And I was really sure about that. But he's not even here. So I'm like, is the bodyguard secretly the king? Or am I just holding on to something that's not real? So I am enjoying it. The main character is likable. She just seems to take a really long time to figure things out that feel obvious. There's a talking cat. He's my favourite character. He's the best. The main character, Anya, doesn't really like him, but I think he's great. I just realised there's a snake on the cover, so I don't know if that means something. I mean, there's the apple, so it was obvious that apples were gonna come into play. It felt like the beginning was really slow to start, and then a bunch of stuff happens. It's just very slow to start. I'm on chapter 22. Also, I feel like the Anya could like send for the king for help, but she's not. That's how that's going. You can see I got this link has sat on me. I've built a couch in Secret Cat Forest. No one's come to sit on it yet, but I'm having lots of visitors, so that's really fun. We're gonna go out and get coffee and go to kmart, which I'm like unreasonably excited for. So, yay. Oh, she leave. Oh no, she'd been drooling on me. We are back from Kmart, so I thought I would give a Kmart haul. She's showing her butt to the camera. We got our coffee, very yummy. I had certain things on the list and then Kmart just had a great selection of products. I couldn't help myself. I got some filters for the cat water fountain, so we have them when it needs doing. And I got a heated wheat bag thingy, heat up croissant. I thought the croissant was cute and I didn't like any of the other ones. I wanted it because I've been really cold recently, and I also thought I could heat it up while we're not home and the cats might sit on it. Imagine Tuli sitting on a croissant. It's like nearly the same size as her. And it's very soft to the touch, so that's nice. A new quilt cover because I want to have one to swap out the thing that's on the couch. I thought it was cute, so hopefully it fits. I'm like fairly certain it's a queen, so that was actually on the list. I think all those things were the only things actually on the list. And then I got, I think he's like a, what is he meant to be? A cowboy monster. I think he's supposed to be like a rip-off Labubu, like Kmart's version of that, and I just thought he was so funny I couldn't help myself. So I don't know where I'm gonna put him. We're thinking maybe in my car, or you also said on the bookshelf, so we'll see, because he's got like a little hook on his head. I love that he's a cowboy and that he's so grumpy, and he has boots on and his silly little arms. So that wasn't on the list, but it was $7, so I couldn't help myself. Or maybe it was $9, I don't know. I found this, which I thought was really funny. There was a horse one that originally caught my eye because that's reminiscent of being a horse girl as a child, but the cat one was just funnier and kind of looks like a messed up medieval painting of cats. It's quite soft, so that's good, and it's cold at the moment. They also had a stripy one that was like green and grey maybe, and I might go back for that because that was cool in like a fashion way instead of like a funny way. I think that's everything. It felt like there was more. I gotta wash everything before I use it. Successful Kmart trip. You always go in for one thing and then end up buying a bunch of other stuff because they just have such cool stuff. They also had a Powerpuff Girl hoodie that was really cool, but it was white. Probably would have bought it if it was a darker colour, but I wasn't vibing with the whites. If any of Kmart's design executives are watching this, please bring out that hoodie in black so that I can buy it. You can't see it, but I've got two cats. There's one here and there's one here. I'm trying to do some writing. Currently, I'm going to have to do a calculation. Look, I'm wearing my new cat sweater. I'm going to have to do a calculation to figure out my word count because I have some words in here that don't count as words. Right now my word count is 4,436, and I basically doubled my word count yesterday because yesterday I wrote 2017 words, which is crazy. I didn't start writing until like really late in the day, and then the words just like were really flowing. I was writing like attention-y, nearly kissing, so I think that's why I could write so well yesterday. Really enjoying the discovery writing process right now. That's one of my favorite things really about writing, which is why I just can't fathom having a like in-depth outline, because I only see things as they come, as I get to them. you know? And I feel like it helps you understand characters better because you're like, this thing happens and then you go, how does she feel about it? And I feel like I wouldn't get that in an outline. So this weekend I've written 3,000 words, 3,243, and hopefully I'll write another 1,000 today. Really that's what I need to do, is I just need to focus, write 500 words, take a break if I need it, and then come back, because that really helps me to get words on the page and have a bit of an idea about what comes next. It's now 5:43. I spent so much of this afternoon procrastinating, but I have written 1,000 words, so that's good. I'll probably do a bit more writing. We're gonna order Indian for dinner, which I'm so excited about, and we have 3 episodes of Archer left to watch, which is sad, but I'm also really excited to just finish it. This is our 3rd rewatch with, I want to say the last 2 or 3 seasons are the first time I was watching them, and they really fell off towards the end, so I'm really looking forward to it being over. And then maybe we'll cancel Netflix, because it's the only reason why we have a Netflix subscription, and it's taken us like a year at least to watch it, so I'm excited for that. It'll be really interesting to see how I feel at the end of it. While procrastinating, I did one productive procrastination, which was I just randomly decided to plot out the motivations for every character. So I have them for Bologna, MMC, Florrie, Aracelia, who was like someone who joins their travelling band of misfits, Tara, which is the cat, Solanine, the mum, Blevin, who's like the main bad guy from the first book, River, who is a past love interest, Atlas, who is a prince, not exactly sure what I'm doing with him, and Mira, who is the queen of the Southern Realm. I'm kind of conflicted whether River and Atlas need to be the same person, but when I first like had the vision of this book, they were always 2 separate characters. Like Atlas is more like a brother to Bologna, and River is a childhood friend turned friends with benefits situation. So it doesn't feel right to make them the same character, but I'm struggling to envision how their motivations are different enough to warrant there being 2 characters. I think they are very different. Like Atlas is anti-war and River is very pro-war, pro-Solanine, pro the Legion. I don't know if that makes any sense. Whereas Atlas, as the prince, feels like he's like powerless and doesn't want to go to war, and they're best friends as well. So I'm not sure about Atlas, and he's also not around, so I don't know. I'm not sure. But I have, apart from Atlas, I have really clear motivations for all of these characters, which I feel really good about going into book 2. And then it really helped me to think about more. I think it's going to be another 4-act structure. Help me see more of how that's going to play out, because I say I'm not a plotter, I'm not an outliner, but I know like the overarching plot lines. I just don't know like scene by scene, chapter by chapter. That stuff comes to me as I write it, but I do know like what I'm working towards. I guess you could say like I'm a half planner, half pantser, which I guess people say plantsing, right? I don't know. So maybe I'm that. Like I have to write it to see how things happen, but I do know what's going to happen. And anyway, writing out these motivations helped me to see when things are going to happen, like what the midpoint twist is going to be, which feels quite early for that thing to happen, but and what the climax will be. I don't know if each act will be like weighted equally in length, because it feels like a lot will have to happen in Act 1 and 2. I don't know. This is what I mean by I don't really know, but I just know what's going to happen. So I know what the midpoint twist is, and I know what the climax is, and I know what the impact of the climax is. It's just working to get there. It's fun. I feel productive. I know what's going to happen next. I just have to write it. So I'm quite happy with my progress. 4,000 words done this weekend already. I'll probably write a little bit more. Looking forward to Indian for dinner. I feel like I haven't had it in so long. I feel like the lighting in here is a lot more relaxing than it looks in the viewfinder. It looks really white in here, and it's not. That's my update. Also, did I tell you I finished this book? I must have. I'm just going to trust myself that I did, even though I have no memory of that, but I must have. I learnt my lesson. I'm closing the lid every time after I've had a drink. Hydration is important. Also having so much fun on my secret cat forest. I had 10 cats in there last time I looked. They're probably all gone now. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cats. And I've got an upstairs area. I don't have enough logs to build anything up there yet, but that's exciting. So highly recommend this app if you like cats. There's no skill involved, which is my favourite kind of game, because I'm not a gamer girl and I really don't like solving puzzles, or I guess just solving puzzles. I don't have the patience for it. Whereas this is just very no skill involved, but it's fun. I might talk to you later, or I might just not. If not, thanks for watching. Have a good day or night wherever you are, and leave an emoji of a cat in the comments. I don't know how to give that cat medieval vibes. Maybe a cat with a sword, or you know, something medieval-esque, if you can think of anything more creative than I can right now. I'll see you in the next video.